brain plasticity also affects psychic abilities, it seems. Do note, in this Chinese report, the success of under 12 prepubescent minds, here at various psychic skills in China. It seems they can do almost anything their literal cooperative minds are asked, like reading with their ears. But as the puberty hormones kick in at 12, the brain hardens, and these advanced abilities just fade. I do confess the same thing happened to myself. I was famous for anticipating questions, and answering them, before they were asked, in my last year at primary school. The ability vanished, when puberty hormones began re-architecting my physical brain structure. At the same time, numerous former nice kids suddenly became psychopathic cruel bullies, and loudly voicing denouncing crudities. All due to the hormones. In this article is briefly reviewed a few of the new developments in China, in psychic research. Notice the differences between up to age 12, and over. Brain function changes dramatically, at age 12, noted by Chinese researchers. Seeing without eyes. Research continued throughout the period in the field of trading psychic abilities in children. In March 1992, 7 Hongzhou University researchers did a 6-month experimental study of trading school children to read with the ear, that is, develop visual perception through body parts other than the eye. This project, led by Tian Weishun and Xu Huizhong, involved 1,222 students, from elementary through high school, of which 623 were boys, and 599 were girls. The trading method involved introducing the concept of reading with the ear, and instructing them to clear their heads, and concentrate. They then checked the children's abilities, in tests read by their school teachers. Their results were that 12.35% of children aged 7 to 13 had the power, but only one female aged 17 had the power among the students from ages 14 to 18. The best age for training the ability was found to be 9, at which age the success rate was around 20%. We cite the Chinese source, My Research on EHF by Professor Tang Jianmin. He also mentions a similar experimental study by Xu Baoyi of China's Bangdu Medical Institute. This study worked with 1,388 teenagers, and found that 180 of them were able to see without their eyes. The largest number of successful subjects was found at age 12, while the fewest were over 16. Likely the abilities earned off by puberty hormones at age 12, as per Dr. Norma Voyage's explanation about brain plasticity. A report by Xiao Leixia and the well-known Xu Yi, editor for China's Nature magazine, described work in training young adults aged 18 to 20. They found it was still possible to train them, but they had greater success with less educated working people than with university students. They hypothesize that the university students are busier and less able to achieve the relaxation and concentration required for successful psychic training. Explanation: left brain schooling actually muffles and hobbles, and discourages psychic skills development, and hormones help that process along. One group that has continued working on research in training psychic children, under 12, is the Human Body Informatics Group in the Electrical Engineering Department of Shanghai's Fudan University. In experiments from 1986 to 1993, they trained 46 children, 18 male, 28 female. They reported that almost all of the children developed both extrasensory perception and psychokinetic abilities. However, the subjects suffered from dizziness, head throbbing and fatigue when exercising these abilities. X-ray vision studies. A popular research target in the 1990s has been see-through vision. This has a good application as a tool for medical diagnosis. Xinjiang People's Liberation Army Hospital did 117 tests of children's abilities to perform such medical diagnosis. In 22 cases of examining for diseases in the head, the children were correct 17 times, partly correct 4 times, and wrong 1 time. In 53 cases examining the liver, the results were 43 correct, 5 partly correct, 4 wrong, and 1 couldn't see clearly. In 19 trials of viewing fetal position, they were correct 16 times, and wrong 3 times. These results were reported in Preliminary Investigation of Modern Medical Verification of EHF by Yang Junpen, Assistant Director of the hospital. Professor Tang Jianmin published an interesting study of the factors contributing to see-through vision. He reviews the known results, that the power is prevalent more in females, and in males, more in youths than adults, more in rural areas, and in cities, more among American children than Chinese children, and more among Chinese adults than American adults. He hypothesizes that the development of see-through vision is affected by the same factors that affect ordinary vision, relaxation, and spending less time on activities that focus the vision strongly, like reading, watching television, driving, and doing stressful work. This theory could explain some of the differences observed. For example, children in China spend more time reading and studying than children in America, so this could affect both their vision and their see-through vision. Dr. Norman Boyd, in his Brain Plasticity book, reports at length on how fast-moving television images change the physical structure and actual operation of our brains. Chinese government shifts stance. As the 1990s drew to a close, psychic research became a center of controversy, as many masters of Qigong meditation promoted their practices as a path to mysterious spiritual powers. The Chinese government took a negative view of some of these activities, especially those that rejected the use of conventional medicine. In 1999, the Chinese government banned one of these Qigong practices, Falun Gong, and issued an arrest warrant for its leader, Li Hongzhi, who has been living in New York. Many newspaper and magazine articles in China attack their mysterious beliefs as superstition. However, psychic research in a scientific framework has continued to receive the support of the Chinese government. Paul Dong discusses this issue in our forthcoming book, The Allure of Falun Gong, Welcome Rain Publishers. It is noteworthy that in the 1980s, many high-ranking Chinese government officials supported psychic research, but today most of these have been replaced by a new generation of leaders who have shown that either they aren't familiar with the research, or they don't believe in it. Read this as, a new generation of Western-style pseudoskeptics now fills leadership seats, suggesting that pseudoskepticism grows in a certain controlled political environment. Chinese pseudoskeptic leaders either don't know, or are opposed to ESP, which makes them most obedient to the state. And all done without James Randi. Thus, the future of psychic research in China is uncertain, although the work continues today in many institutes in the country. This article from China, summarizing the ESP performance of under 12 children, does much to underscore Dr. Norman Boyd's brain plasticity explanation, that year 12 is the turning point from the literal child's imaginative, cooperative, do anything, and believe anything mind, to that of the metaphorical adult mind with boundaries being put into place by hormones and education. Western skeptics take heart. It's not your fault that you feel injured and aggrieved about believing something obviously false, like Santa, or the many stories of Christianity. Your literal children's mind made you do it. It's not your fault. Stop blaming yourself. Stop punishing yourself. Stop calling other people gullible all over the net, like you mistakenly think you were. It's actually self-harm. Don't continue the self-harm practice over the net for decades. If you do, you are entirely focused on yourself. Narcissism of the literal mind, bad negative habit. Dear skeptics, brain scan research indicates you can reprogram your physical brain out of your decades of online misery. Practice. Simply do something positive for others daily. Buy this book, guys.